I just want to start off this interview by saying thank you for doing that interview with Lawn Care Life and shouting out Taradel. We're really glad you had a positive experience with us, and
Absolutely.
hopefully that you continue that. I know you just booked another campaign with us, so we're
I
excited
did.
for that. But
Yeah.
if you just kind of want to give a little background on 4 Point Lawn Care, kind of how you started, your background, your clients, everything like that, we'd love to hear a little bit more.
Well, my business is actually relatively new. I was in the corporate world for many, many years and decided to get out. It was actually really challenging transition, having a kind of good job and good career. I just kind of burned out on it and
Yeah.
wanted to do my own thing. So luckily I made some good decisions while I was in that world. So I gave myself some flexibility to do so. Um, when I got out, I was kind of exploring options to figure out what to do, and one thing that was kind of like therapy to me was lawn care, doing my own, doing families, things like that, and decided to kind of go down that avenue. And in doing so, in the short time that I've been doing it, kind of like I said when I was with Jason, is I wanted to offer more than just kind of the traditional, mowing and weed eating. And I wanted to know what I was doing. Knowledge is huge for me. So um, I wanted to really know the ins and outs of the business and the kind of horticulture world. So I'm continuing to learn every day. And I think if I stop doing that, then it's maybe time to hang it up and give up. But I'm just kind of building this business new and getting ready to rock and roll. I'm kind of transitioning into a new avenue of weed control and fertilization. But right now, I'm kind of a whole service as I move into that industry. Um, but building a very personalized relationship with my clients is very important, and kind of keeping that small business feel, even though I want to grow this, as big as I can without um, taking away from that very personalized approach. But that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at with the business, and kind of what got me into it is just kind of I enjoyed the work,
Yeah.
and now that I'm learning more about it, it still gives me that kind of pride and passion to give somebody a service that I would be happy with myself. So yeah.
That's awesome. Is it just currently you running the business, or do you have any other assistants or landscapers?
I have a couple guys working with me right now, and depending on how this next big marketing push goes, will depend on how the new season approaches, and if I need to bring on some more guys to handle that load. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's fluid, you know.
For sure.
Yeah,
So I know
yeah.
you said you just kind of started 4 Points. What would you say was the biggest challenge? It can be marketing or it can be something else with starting a new business and kind of getting your name out there and securing those first clients.
Um, Marketing was probably one of my biggest challenges, is finding the right approach. I did a big push, well, not as big as what I'm doing now, but I did a marketing push through EDDM last year. I just timed it terribly, um, and that was completely on me. This is a very seasonal business, so it's the timing has been very important, um, and also kind of the learning aspect of things is it's a very competitive market in the landscaping industry. There are a lot of people out there doing it. So it is the marketing side of thing is getting on people's radar was a little challenging at first, and that was kind of the biggest hurdle that I had to figure out, was how to get my name and my brand in front of people.
Okay,
Uh,
cool. Do you think you
yeah,
started the campaign too early or too late?
way
Like,
too late.
up chance
Way too late
too
last
late.
year. Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
that's typically what we will always recommend is you want to be in people's mailboxes before spring hits and they really need that landscaping company. You want to get your name
yeah,
out there, which you live and you learn, and you definitely did that with this next push coming out soon. Um,
yeah.
what was it about Taradel that drew you? I know you said you wanted to keep that personal feel with Every Door Direct Mail, which is a great product to do so. But what was it about Taradel that you decided to work with us as opposed to a competitor or doing every direct mail by yourself?
So I researched a few companies, and Taradel was one of the kind of top that stood out. I tried to do every door direct by myself, and I started researching. I started talking to the local post offices, which weren't a lot of help. I was getting a lot of different answers from a lot of different people, and so through the research that I was seeing, I was seeing kind of some horror stories from people who try to do it themselves with very minimal mistakes being made in design or in printing, and making thousands of copies and shipping it off or taking it off to the post office and then being like, no, this isn't right.
Yeah.
And uh, and then and I kind of started thinking about that, and as I was doing the research and trying to contact the local post offices and get some guidance, I was getting too many mixed answers to have any confidence in not having an error come up along the way. So at that point, I was like, ah. So then I ended up reaching out to a couple of companies that kind of did it for you, Taradel included. And after speaking with one of the local reps, which was Sunny, who's been helping me out, it felt right. It was I had a great there was a great rapport. There was a lot of information and knowledge that was given to me, and it kind of built some confidence. So I felt like that you all were the right company, and I did that push with you all back then, which had limited ROI, but that was way based on my inexperience and my timing issues. So it was nothing on Taradel's part. You guys did exactly what you promised to do, and that's why when it came time to do it again, I reached back out, and I actually am working with another company who offers the services, as well as other services, some of which I use. But I even contacted them, and even though I work with them with other things, it still felt right to stick with Taradel. The, the whole thing has been seamless working with you all, and it's been very pleasant. And I have a lot of confidence in uh, what I'm asking for being done flawlessly the first time.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we're super happy to hear that. We definitely want to make direct mail as seamless, easy as possible. That is our goal. So I'm glad to know you experienced that. I want to talk a little bit about your next campaign because you over doubled the postcards you're sending and added next door an targeted email
Yeah.
blast to that. What was the thought process behind that? What are you hoping to see by doubling your campaign and adding that digital aspect as well?
So as I've grown the business, I've put myself in a better position to take on more.
Mhm.
And I have the confidence to do so as well. In just the short time that I've done this and the knowledge that I've gained, um, I've also opened up some more services. So I wanted to target um, more. I wanted to hit kind of, my business is focused in about 3 cities, if you would.
Yeah.
And I wanted to really target more heavily in all 3 of those cities instead of kind of really my first campaign was really focused on my very immediate location, and instead of really kind of pushing it out. So I decided this time, since I think my timing is much better, I wanted to do a bigger push, and and then I'd really be able to see kind of what kind of ROI to that I can kind of expect on that. And now that I've built a kind of more of a brand and got my website out there, it just made sense to get my brand in front of as many people as I possibly could, within the marketing budget that I had. So that was kind of the idea behind it, was just get in front of as many people as you can.
Great. So you mentioned when you were targeting, did you focus mostly on like geographic areas or did you use any of like the demographic features such as age, income, household, residency? I just
I
kind of
used all your
out
demographic,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, your
I used all
targeting
I used all the
process.
resources that were given to me. So I had an idea of area. Well, obviously, I knew the areas that I was working in. So inside of that, I used all of the resources that were offered to me with your kind of routing software and mapping, where I absolutely went in and looked at median incomes, and I looked at the age range that seemed to be the best fit for my services. And I took all of those things into account before I chose my routes. So yeah, I used everything that was available to really pinpoint what I was trying to target.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, that's good to hear you were using all the features that were available. And then getting into a little bit of the postcard actual design and the message. Do you recall what you used for designing it? Like your call to action, were there any offers? What was like your main message of the postcard that you wanted to get across when it hit the mailboxes of local residents?
Um, I did not offer any discounts or incentives on this mailer. This was more designed um, as a brand awareness, to let people know that my service is here, that I am here and I'm local. I'm offering now a service that, as far as the research that I've done, I'm not really seeing anyone in my direct um, targeted area or local area that offers specific commercial application in weed control and fertilization. There are many companies outside that come into my area that work that business, but on a local approach, um, I kind of wanted really people to know that, hey, there's a guy right here in your town that offers some of these services that you've probably had to go and outsource, to other cities and towns. Um, and just wanted people to know that I'm here, and kind of brand awareness was really the
Yeah,
focus of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
brand awareness. And then do you think you were able to get any leads from that? I know it definitely did brand awareness, but did you see any leads come in calling from the mailers at all?
You talking about the first one? This one hasn't gone out yet. The
Yeah,
newest
no,
one
the
hasn't
first one. I
gone
was
out
just
yet.
curious if
Yeah,
you,
the first one I got very limited. I got a few calls from it, but again, my timing was exceptionally poor, and that was a live and learn mistake.
yeah,
I got into the business and I said, well, I'm coming in late. Maybe this is a good way to catch the people who don't have services, and it did catch just that. So I did catch a few people that didn't have any services and kind of weren't really sure about it. And I've actually secured some very solid clients from that, but it was the numbers were kind of minimal in my hopes.
yeah,
But now that based on more experience and more knowledge in this, um, that was kind of what I should have anticipated based on my timing. But it's kind of funny that I've actually gotten a few calls this year based on people who got my flyer last year and held on to it.
yeah,
Um, so there's definitely a value that I'm seeing there, and I'm really excited about this new push to see what it does.
yeah, no, that's
Getting in front of a lot of people at the right time of year. I have huge hopes for it, and I'm excited to see what happens next week when that thing goes out.
yeah, no, we'll definitely stay in touch. I'm excited to see how that works. I think this campaign is going to be a big success. And how we always tell people is direct mail, maybe you don't get a ton of leads right away, but it's so good for brand awareness. And unlike digital ads, people actually keep it. They keep the flyers, the postcards, and maybe a junk drawer on the fridge. So when they do need you in something, when they need that lawn care service, they're like, oh, I remember I got one in the mail a couple months ago or something, and they can reach out to you. So that's good that you're
Yeah,
still seeing
and
results on that
I
first.
think people need to be aware of what their expectations should be in
Mhm.
something like this. And I think a lot of people who are getting into it like me look at, a 1% or 2% ROI as like, well, that's terrible. But in the grand scheme of things, it's really not.
Yeah,
Customer acquisition in businesses generally costs money with marketing. And when you do the math on how many people you're getting in front of, it actually makes sense. You just have to, budget it according to what kind of numbers you need to get out of people. But those numbers sound good to me. I mean, if I could hit 1% on this next campaign going out, it was a success.
yeah,
You know, and I think if people kind of really do their math and see what that means, sometimes looking and seeing 1% is like, I don't want to do that, but it actually makes sense. I mean, there's a reason a lot of these big companies do it, and because it does work.
Yeah.
and I'm very confident that this is going to be the big push for me this year.
And
Yeah.
especially for service-based businesses, um, when you generate a new client, you hope you're able to retain them and keep them for seasons to come. So I want to ask a little bit about that, about your leads and your clients. How many clients would you say you have right now, if you know?
Going into this season, my numbers are pretty low, but my definite retention is probably about 30, 25,
Oh,
30.
yeah,
So again, they're very, very low. This is a new business, but everybody that I gained from last year, um, who had services, not just like clean outs or kind of one time landscaping jobs. Um, for the most part, are either upping their services this year or maintaining the original services. So retention has been fantastic.
yeah, it's huge. Yeah. Do you know your lifetime value of new clients, or is that something you're still kind of figuring out
So
since you're in
do you
the
mean like when you
if
say
a
that,
new
what?
client, if a new lead comes in, turns into a client, and they stay with you for multiple years, do you know that revenue that you're able to produce on them? I know you're a new
No,
business, so you may not
it's
have that.
I'm still working numbers, and
Yeah.
now with the transition, um, the numbers are going to be changing because the service is changing. So still there's still a lot of math and numbers that I'm
Yeah.
working on, but it's a like I said, it's fluid. It's kind of an everyday thing,
Gotcha.
rebuilding budgets and rebuilding business plans. Um, my job right now is just to continue learning, and I'm learning something new every day
Mhm.
from all of the mentors and people that I'm talking with. Like I said, I was in the corporate world for a long time working for other people, and now doing it on my own and trying to really push it. There's a lot I didn't know, but I'm
Yeah.
learning it every day.
Always
Yeah.
something new to learn.
Yeah.
Also regarding your leads, I was curious, do you know like would you say the most valuable lead is to you? Is it a referral, a phone call, an email? Any info on that at all?
The most valuable.
Like
I'm
if
sorry.
someone
Repeat all of
reaches
that.
out, what method do you think they're most likely to convert into a client of yours?
Word of mouth, referrals are
Yeah.
huge because if somebody's getting a referral from someone that they know, there's a huge value in that because they're getting it from someone trusted most of the time. In the grand scheme of things, I'm a stranger. I have to build the trust. And when you're getting EDDM leads or website leads, those people are looking at me as just that,
Yeah.
well, hey, this guy's got, a good website. He looks good. He sounds good, but he's got to prove himself. And when you get a referral from someone, sometimes you're a step ahead so that, generally that person who maybe your neighbor or friend said, hey, this guy's great. There's an expectation of, you know, you've kind of, like I said, you've got that up step on a total blind client.
Yeah. Was one of the big reasons you chose direct mail marketing because you wanted that personable, trustworthy feel as opposed to um, like your traditional digital ads? Like
Yes,
tangible, pick it up,
I
feels personal.
absolutely.
Right?
I wanted people to have it in their hand and be able to see it. And the digital world is changing now. I mean, it's huge, but a lot of people are hesitant to click on an email that
Mhm.
may look like spam or so. I think you get it in the mailbox, you have it in your hand. There's that, like you said, there's that tangible. It's a more personalized feel to me. So that was kind of one of the things I went with is my business focus is staying very personalized with my clients. And so that was kind of one of the reasons that I did that direction as well.
That's great. Would you
Yes.
recommend direct mail or Taradel in general to other landscaping lawn care businesses?
Absolutely. Depending on what their approach
Mhm.
was, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not the marketing plan that I would tell everyone to do, but somebody who's going about like how I am, who wants to hit the masses, who wants to build brand awareness, who wants to get in front of a lot of people at one time, I would absolutely say yeah, it's solid. I mean, you're getting in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah.
It's hard to
So
ignore it because you have to pick it up and you
yeah.
either have to save it or physically put it in the trash can. You can't just scroll past it, which is a big thing. You have to get your eyes on it.
And as for Taradel, I would absolutely recommend y'all to anyone who was interested in doing it because, like I said, the process with me has been seamless. I've had, you know, everything's been great through my direct contact with Sunny. She's been informative. She's been fantastic. You know, if I have a question, boom, I make a call and or an email, and we're communicating immediately. There's no, you know, we'll contact you back in 72 hours kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, I'm getting answers done very quickly. And for me, especially in this beginning phase, there's a level of nervousness with building a business and doing marketing that you're not really familiar with. So, and maybe that's not for everybody, but for me, it was. There was a level of like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right move? And Taradel and everyone I worked with has made it very comforting experience, and everything that was offered to me has been done just like they said it was going to be done. So that's been huge because there's a lot of stress with you know having to start up and trying to push it like I am.
Yeah.
So to eliminate any aspect of stress, I appreciate that. So yes.
Awesome. Yeah. You're a lawn care expert in the making or already are. So we're happy to handle all the marketing. That's what we like to do is take all the stress off small businesses and let them focus on actually running the business. And we handle all the marketing.
Yeah.
My last question for you is just, is there anything else you want to add or any recommendations you would have to a new lawn care business or just a new business in general about getting your name out there, securing leads, getting new clients, and really putting yourself on the map?
Yeah, starting a new business can be really scary, but you know, take your time, do your research, build your plans, think it through. You know, it sounds, I'll say the word, it sounds really sexy to have your own business, but there's a lot to it, and really think it through. You know, run your numbers, do your kind of due diligence to understand what you're getting yourself into before you do it, and then once you do it, do it, make the push. Push through the anxieties, the fears, and just know that if you push hard enough, we can all be successful. Um, but it's a grind. It generally kind of like I was speaking in one of my other interviews is if your expectation is to go buy some equipment and have a full load the next day, you might want to rethink it
Yeah.
because it doesn't always work out that way. And if it does, man, I need y'all's approach. So send me
Yeah.
an email.
Yeah, you
Uh,
can't, you got to go full in or not at all.
Yeah, so it's nerve wracking, it's stressful, but just do it smartly and do it. It's very very achievable if you really understand what you're getting yourself into. And so that would be my kind of main advice is just understand that sometimes it takes a good push and it takes some resources to do so. So use your resources, have your budget ready and use all the outlets that you can fiscally do to push you ahead.
That was a great response. I couldn't have said it better myself, but it was great talking to you, Nate. Do you have any questions or anything for me before I let you go? We're going to tag your business in all of these, get it on all our socials, link to your website. If you could just message me the exact website link so we have
Sure.
it and we can share it to everyone, that'd be
Yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah, no questions. Just excited about this push coming out next week. So we'll see how that rolls out. And yeah, no questions at all. I've appreciated everything y'all have done, and I will continue to support y'all's business because y'all have been great for me, and I'm sure you'd be great for a lot of other people.
yes, well, thank you, Nate. I look forward to catching up with you and Sunny about this upcoming drop and seeing how that goes. I'm sure it's going to go great, but I hope you have a great rest of your day and stay in touch.
Thanks.
Bye, Nate.